Hello, everyone, and I am happy to announce I won my locals with what you see before you, Power Patron Vaylantz. Remember those cards I couldn't figure out how to use with this deck? I figured it out, and they're actually incredible. They're so good. I'm really, really pleased with how this deck went. I'm really, really impressed. Now, I will preface this by saying I do not recommend playing the list you see in front of you. This is the list I played for the locals, and after the locals, I tested a bunch more at locals with people who I didn't get to play against during the event, and realized this deck needed to have a lot of changes fixed to it, or not a lot, but at least some changes fixed to it to make it better. Because I do intend to bring this deck to a regional, and I think I've got this to a really, really powerful point. I'll obviously have timestamps in the video, so you can go and see that list if you want to just get to that and the list I think you should play. But I'm going to go ahead and explain how this deck works, what I was doing with it. There might be some interesting things you see in here. I also want to say this is also kind of an update for how I'm doing with the deck, how I'm what I've learned with the deck, because there are some things I have not talked about in here, like this Archmage package here. There's a bunch of things I want to talk about, so let's get into it. So first off, we've got our Power Patron cards. We've got the 3 Vidolium, the 2 Ginolda, which I was fine with. I did try cutting Ginolda down to 1 after the event, testing with it, and you just need this card for the grind game. I don't like playing 2 of it, and sometimes you need it for combos as well. I don't like playing 2 of it because it's not good to draw, but like it is at minimum like a pot of greed when you draw it. Kinda, it's like a very kind of hard to set up pot of greed, but it is a pot of greed. Then we have 3 Nervado, who's the best one. He's crazy. He also enables your Fua line. Nervado, very, very good. 2 Gepredo, who is not bad. The board breaker effect came up a couple times, and as a extender, he was not terrible. There are some ways we have to get him out of the scale, ways to pop him, so on and so forth, and he was fine in that regard. We played 2 Medius. I want to bump this guy up to 3 going forward. This card is the card that lets you beat Droll, which came up a lot during the event, actually. And in general, Medius is just a really, really good card. And in a higher card count, I think it is totally fine to max out on this card. He's crazy. Then we have the 3 Terminus, probably the best card in the deck. We have the 1 Vidolia. I wouldn't play more than this. This card, the problem is this deck is just too expensive when it comes to the getting rid of cards in your hand to start with a card like this. Once you've gotten some more advantage, using this later in the turn is totally fine, but starting with this feels really bad. Also, the Floodgate effect, the like Abyss Dweller effect, came up multiple times during the event. It's actually really, really good, kind of huge deal. I played against Branded twice, and it came up in both of those matches, and pretty much got me the game. Then we have our Archmage package, and this is the thing I really want to talk about. Obviously, the Assault to search the Medius off the non-finito is standard, and the Recapture is standard, but Finmel and Pact Awakening allow you to go make non-finito. Let's say you get Fluid, right? You can go tribute the Nervado in hand, which you have a million ways to get to, along with a Spell Trap to summon non-finito. Then non-finito can set Pact Awakening, and then you will pass. At the start of your opponent's turn, you can use Pact Awakening, which can summon an Archmage or a Medius monster from your deck. So you'll be summoning Medius, and then Medius, on summon, will summon from your deck a Nervado. The reason we don't just straight up summon Nervado is because we want 3 different monster types on our field, which Medius covers. Also, it gets us an extra body on field for a fusion summon later. Then, immediately after that, we can go non-finito, fuse with the Nervado to make a second non-finito, which is why we're playing 2 in this list. Then we can go chain 1 Nervado, chain 2 non-finito, or however you want to chain it, to then set Recapture from deck, which can be used that turn because it was because you control an Archmage monster. And then Nervado will summon Finmel, who is on field while you control 3 or more monster types, a Dark Ruler no more that also halves their attack. It's like a full board droplet, right? So you have a full board droplet, a Medius on your field, and a non-finito, which you can then fuse the non-finito and the Medius into a copy of Dragos Tepelia. So it's 3 interruptions, giving them 1 draw off Fua, which feels incredibly good. It feels so strong. You can get to it with almost any of your hands. It's great. I think it is legitimately like mandatory for me going forward in most of my Power Patron lists because it's incredible. It's very low commitment. You already play Drago's Spell. You play one non-finito, so it takes one extra deck slot and two main deck slots. And Finmill's not even a brick. Like, if you open a spell trap, this card gets you to full combo by making non-finito because it's a level 7 or higher Archmage. Pact Awakening is obviously not great to draw, but like going first, you can set it, and it's like not a bad card. And then going second, you can even like discard it for one of your things, probably non-finito, probably for non-finito, and then you can use it in grave to tag out an Archmage monster on your field to pop a card your opponent controls, which is actually pretty good, especially going second. It can let you, like, imagine for a minute you go, use an Archmage and a and this card in hand to make non-finito. You use non-finito's effect to set. Your opponent tries to imperm your non-finito. And then you can chain this, bounce back the non-finito so it dodges the imperm, and then pop a card in their field. That's so strong. Loved these cards. I really recommend trying them. They are phenomenal. After that, we got 3 Shade the Obscure, 3 Pendulum Treasure. Both these are pretty standard. And then the Amorphage cards, which I ran because I thought that being able to shut off breakers and these like insanely powerful floodgates that only this deck can use were just too good to pass up. I should have passed them up. They were terrible all day. Also, I am realizing I did not play Sloth. I played Goliath because he's bigger, and that was really it. I don't think the Tribute Summon thing would have came up ever. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I don't even know if I drew Goliath. But these cards were terrible all day. I think I had a setup where I could have summoned Goliath one time on my opponent's turn. I couldn't even do it on my turn. And that didn't even happen because my opponent hit me with like 3 spells before it mattered because I wasn't able to get Lechery as well. If you get hand trapped like at all, it's super hard to make these cards. Also, something I figured out, and it's probably because I'm just not experienced enough with the deck, but it is so hard to get these two consistently with every hand while also playing around the hand traps you want to play around. The lines just get so finicky because of how specifically you have to set these guys up. You either have to use Beyond the Pendulum to get to like one of these two, or Shade the Obscure to put it in your extra deck, and then make Ixie to add back one of these two. And it can make your lines feel so awkward. It feels really bad. And also, when you set up the board with these cards, usually it is opening you up to straight up losing to other cards in the game. Like Lava Golem or Kaijus, for example. If they were to Lava Golem or Kaiju your Amorphage monster on field, the game basically ends on the spot. You might have like a recapture set or something with a non-finito up, but like that is probably not winning you the game from that position. It is... I hated these cards. They came out immediately after the event. They were so bad. Goliath I considered keeping because this card is a lot easier to set up than the Lechery, but like I just found out I just figured I didn't need it. It didn't feel like I needed it. Also, every time I went first and like did put up a board that usually did not even usually, I never set up Lechery. Even if I set up a board that in theory had Goliath, I never needed it to win the game, or it never actually hit the board. So these cards were terrible. I never needed them, and most of the time when I went first, I won anyway, unless I bricked like that. And I bricked one time the whole event. Like you do not need these cards. I understand why you'd want to play them, and there are some matchups where they are really nice. Like Sky Striker, for instance. Decks that are on like a crazy amount of board breakers and are super spell heavy. It is just like an auto win. But this deck's going first is so good already. I really don't think you need these cards. Then we have the Vaylantz engine, which you guys are probably real confused if you've never read these cards before. I will go ahead and go down them. We've got Shinonome, the Vaylantz Priestess. It has the scale effect, and all the Vaylantz monsters, except for one, they kind of vary. But most of the Vaylantz monsters have the effect that during the main phase, you can summon this card to your main monster zone in its same column, so it'll like move forward from the Pendulum Zone. Also, you cannot special summon non-Vaylantz monsters for the rest of this turn, except from the extra deck. So notably, that is a really big lock, and you might think we can't do a whole lot under that lock, which is kind of true. And this is what I was struggling with. I couldn't figure out what we could reasonably do under this lock. But I have figured out how to end on a solid 6 interruptions under the Vaylantz lock if we have to start with just Shinonome. It's really, really good. Second, the Vaylantz lock usually does not matter because what you're usually doing with these cards is using them as extenders, and if you use them correctly, by then it won't matter. So honestly, it was fine. I never felt like the Vaylantz lock was like a huge hindrance. I never felt like I had to play into it and then lost the game because of it. These cards felt incredible. They're all really good extenders, or at least a certain ninja should be. But uh, these cards are all really good. This engine doesn't really feel like it has a whole lot of, like, really any bricks. None of these cards feel that bad to draw. Even the field spells, it's like one of them moves a monster forward from the back row. So if you have like one of your power patrons stuck in the scale, you can summon them out from the back row. Or if you and the other one allows you to push monsters back into the back row. So this card can be really good for board breaking as well. I really like these cards. And I'll go ahead and explain what Shinonome does as well, because this is easily your best one, which is why we're playing it at 3. In the monster zone, during your main phase, if you control the special summoned card, you can add a Vaylantz spell from your deck to your hand, which is either going to get you solo activation or the field spell, or one of the field spells. And then, if this monster moves to another monster zone, you can add a Vaylantz monster from your deck to your hand. That's kind of this deck's whole gimmick, is moving their cards around. And Shinonome is the best one. In theory, this card is searches a spell, and then you move it, and then you search a monster. So this card equals a lot of advantage all on its own. It is really, really strong. I do want to talk about something. I didn't run the Soulful Cord monsters instead, which a lot of people said I should run over these cards when I was bringing this engine up. The reason I like these cards a lot more is, one, all of the Vaylantz monsters are water and fire, which means they play really well with Impulse in a way that Soulful Cord doesn't. Also, all the Soulful Cord monsters that are good are level 1, which means you can't pen summon them if you have a power patron scale 1 in your scale, which means you have to scale Promoa, which can feel really awkward. Also, the Soulful Cord cards, Happiness requires a discard, something this deck really does not want to be doing with how much you're already discarding out of your hand. I thought these cards were way better. They gained you a bunch of advantage. Also, Shinonome's Spell Search was really important sometimes for literally just getting a spell card in hand to discard to summon non-finito. That came up a bunch during the event. Then we have 3 copies of Vaylantz Awakening Solo Activation. This is the other 3 of we're playing, because it's kind of a starter as well, although it's mostly just a really good extender, but it can get your plays going if you have a normal summon. This card allows you to place a Vaylantz Pendulum from your deck into your Pendulum Zone, and then in the grave, if a card is in your field zone, you can banish the card from the grave to target a Vaylantz monster in your main monster zone and move that monster to an adjacent zone. So, what you will usually do is you're going to go Shinonome, search Awakening. Awakening is going to place the Vaylantz Ninja, who can summon himself from the scale if you have a Water Vaylantz monster or a Shinra Bancho. And then on the field, he can target another monster in your main monster zone and move it. So what you're going to do is get Shinonome get Solo Activation. Solo Activation is going to place Nizuki, move Nizuki forward. Then Nizuki will move the Shinonome, allowing you to search a Voltage Viscount, which this card also has the effect to move itself forward. And then can also, on the field, put a Vaylantz monster from your extra deck face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, which comes up sometimes since you can move like a Shinonome that you put back onto the field forward from your Shinra Bancho, right? Which came up sometimes. Most importantly, though, this allows you to get a 1 scale and 2 pendulums on board, so you can then link those monsters off for Beyond the Pendulum, who can then search your Vidolium, and then you can go off from there. That's kind of the general idea. Notably, one of the reasons we're playing the field spells is because solo activation needs you to have a field spell up to move your monster. So if you first say start with solo activation, you're going to go solo activation, play Shinonome. Shinonome can, you're going to put Shinonome in the scale, you're going to move it forward, and then Shinonome can search a copy of the field spell of one of the field spells instead, which when either of the field spells are activated, they place the other field spell from the deck into the opponent's zone. And then if you have, since you have the field spell up, you're going to be able to use Solo Activation's Grave Effect to move the Shinonome, and then Shinonome can get you one of your Vaylantz monsters. This is why you need the normal summon, because you don't have a way to a second Vaylantz monster. So you're going to have to normal summon a monster, can literally be anything, or you can have any body on board, and then you can link them off for Beyond the Pendulum, search Vidolium, and do pretty much the same play as before. Then we have the field spells. Koenig Wizen can, if there are 2 cards in the field zones, the turn player can target an effect monster in the opponent's main monster zone in the same column as one of their monsters and move that monster into the back row. And then Shinra Bancho, while there are 2 cards in the field zones, the turn player can target a monster card in their back row and move it forward. One thing you have to be really careful about with these cards is that they can hurt you as well, because they're both players can use them. So your opponent could theoretically use the Koenig Weisen effect to break your board, which could come up, although notably, usually the way we're setting up our board, we'll be able to pop or get rid of one of these cards, usually the one on our opponent's field, some way, or we'll be able to dodge cards or something. There's usually a way to stop these cards from being a problem for us. Usually what we'll just do is that we'll give them Shinra Bancho, which I don't really care if they have, unless they're playing a Pendulum deck, which they probably aren't, to then place the Vidolia onto the field, or the Vidria on the field. So the Koenig Weisen, the one that can actually break our board, will not be on the field, so they won't be able to use it, right? That's usually how we play our turn. That's why if I'm choosing which one to place, I'm always getting Koenig Weisen to start with on my field. Then we have our non-engine, which the one I want to talk about is the one I have first. Kashtira Fenrir. Oh my god, I was so happy to play this card again. This card, if you have never played a Pendulum deck before with Fenrir in it, oh my god, he feels incredible. He lets you summon himself for free, so he's a good extender. He searches another copy of himself, which means you can pen summon that other copy, so if you have to use the first one for material, you can just pen the second one out to still have that interaction. Also, going second, you can just pen the second one out later, which is also really nice. And he's a pretty solid board breaker. He's not like insane. He's not as good as something like any of these 4 cards, or Super Poly, or Lava Golem, or Lightning Storm, or whatever. But he can really mess with how your opponent plays. He pairs really well with other non-engine cards, and this deck is already really good at breaking boards. Fenrir makes that. Fenrir just makes that even easier, while also being great going first, and can help you extend your plays in any scenario, which comes up so much. He was genuinely, arguably the best card in my deck, or the best non-engine card in my deck, other than probably one other card I'll get to in a minute. Then we have 3 Fua, which is pretty standard, although some lists are citing this. I think this card is probably too good not to main. I really want to cite it because I hate drawing this card going first, but I mean, it can be a normal summon for the solo activation. It can be a banish for the Vidolia. It's not the worst. It's just obviously not ideal. 2 Droll, this card was pretty good. I did play against 2 branded, and this card was really bad in those matchups, but against the non-branded matchups, this card was pretty good. Then we have 3 Impulse. This was probably the best non-engine card in my deck all day. Oh my god, Impulse is so broken. Holy. If you have the choice to play this card or not play this card, please play this card. It's just unbelievable. It won me so many games during the day. I would set up like a half board and then have Impulse ready, and that pretty much guaranteed me the game. Or I would have like a Hand Trap plus Impulse, and that would get me the game. This card's just so good. Please play this card. It's crazy. Also, we play like traps in this deck, which means the Impulse Destruction effect is live sometimes, which is great. Also, it's a spell trap, so you can discard it for non-finito, which does come up sometimes. We then have 3 Imperm. This card was less good. It wasn't like the worst. It was not bad in the decks I played against, but I did play test against Cool Tune after the event, something I didn't play against during the main event, and I got my ass kicked, and Imperm was not good in that deck at all. I would not recommend playing this card, at least not in the main deck. There are some decks I think you do want this card for, like FTK decks and stuff, but I don't think those decks are like relevant enough to really consider playing this card. And Impulse deals with those as well. I really didn't like this card. I cut it from the actual list I'll show off in a bit. One Called By, this card was not bad. Obviously it's Called By, it's a very good card. I did end up cutting this from the other list as well after the event, but it's still in the side. It's a good card. Good card. What do you want me to say? Then we have this package, which I tested out because I wanted to see how it would do, which is 3 Thrust, 1 Talents, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Illusion Gate, and 1 Slayer. So obviously these 4 cards are Thrust targets, and we have the 3 Thrust itself. And Thrust was fine. Being able to set Pact Awakening from deck is really good. But as a breaker, this card was not very good, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I even drew it, but when I did, it didn't feel super impactful. The fact that this card can be, I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating. My theory with this card was against something like Cool Tune, for example. They would, if they looked at your hand, Thrust could equal any spell trap. So it's way harder to play around a thrust than it is to play around a known spell trap. At least that was the theory anyway. And it was fine. I don't know. I don't hate this card. I think it's potentially a good side deck option for that reason, but I don't it was all right. It was fine. I did end up cutting it, but it wasn't terrible. I don't hate it. Then we have the one Talents, which was really good. Talents is a very good card. The one Feather Duster, which was also very good when I drew it. My match one was against Elfno, and I drew just the most vile, not even that most vile hand, but it was like Fua plus Feather Duster, and he literally went like set 2 back row pass, and I went, all right, Feather Duster, the back row, and then he had nothing to interact with me. It was so gross. It was so stupid. Then we have the one Illusion Gate, which I never drew, and it never came up, but it is a good card. And then the one Ultimate Slayer, which I never drew, and it never came up, but it is a good card. Yeah. So the non-engine was kind of rocky, but it was fine. Also, for people who don't like 60 cards, sorry. The other list I have isn't on 60, but it's still pretty close. I didn't have an issue with it. Honestly, I really liked being able to consistently open a variety of different starters. I really liked being able to still open a good amount of non-engine because game one, I believe this list has, 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 15, 18, was it 19, 20, 21, 22 non-engine. Game one, you have 22 non-engine. Post side, we can side out of one of the Vaylantz pendulums. We can side out of the field spells, a couple copies of solo activation, the Amorphages, the Pact Awakening, the Recapture, the Finmel. That's a ton of cards. That's 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. You get to side out of 10 engine cards post side and go up to like 32 non-engine theoretically. Oh my god, like that's insane. That's over 20. That would be ratio wise, that'd be over 20 cards in a 40 card list. It's really, really gross. Obviously, you won't see specific cards as often, which hurts a little bit. But if all of your non-engine is good and you want to see it, I don't really think that's a huge deal. And this format specifically, I don't feel like there's a specific non-engine card I need to see in specific matchups. Some matchups maybe, but in some matchups as well, not really. So I never really had an issue with it. I felt like 60 cards never really hindered me all that much. Then for our extra deck, we've got the standard 3 Power Patrons. You get the 2 Non-Finito, which I've already talked about, the Dragos Tapelia, which is needed for the Pact Awakening line, although you could theoretically use Deactorus, but sometimes the Deactorus won't be live when you do that, so I don't love Deactorus over this, even though it is a better interruption. 1 Baguska, which you need for the Amorphage line, although honestly, this card, ignoring the Amorphage line, was also insane. Oh my god, Baguska kind of carried all day. This card was crazy. Just being able to make this on a simplified, or to make this in a somewhat simplified board state, or make this in just make this when I was getting hand trapped a bunch. It was pretty easy, and the extra 4 you get from the Vaylantz engine is super huge for this. Being able to have that extra 4 made Baguska super easy to get to, even if I wasn't able to access both Medius and Shade. Something I really don't like in the pure build is that you only really have the 2 level 4s that are searchable, and if you can't get to one of them, you just can't get to this card most of the time, so having the extra access to a 4 was super nice. For Rudross, which, we're running a Rank Tank deck, obviously, the Mercurium, which I am cutting from the main, since I'm cutting the Amorphage cards, but it still has a lot of good applications. They just didn't come up during my matches. Anytime I would want to use the Floodgate effect, usually setting up the field spell was just better or easier, so yeah. 1 access code, which was fine. This is the one card that I haven't cut yet that I might cut in the future, because he didn't come up a ton, and the Terminus lock means you're not killing with this guy very often. What he's in there for is he's just removal, which I do really like. I like that he is removal because of the Terminus lock, which if you don't know, Terminus only lets you attack with Power Patrons the turn you use it. It is kind of really difficult to kill and sometimes even just clear boards with this deck, because unlike the more pure Archmage deck, for example, you don't have a critical mass of Archmage effects to try and use Nervous Effect to board wipe, meaning you don't have a lot of ways to actually get bodies off of the field. Access code helps with that so much. I do kind of feel like I need this card, but there's a world I find something better to replace it with. At the moment, I just don't know what that is. Then we have Charmer, Quartet, and Bloom. This card was fine. Obviously, I didn't set up the Amorphage line very much, so that didn't really matter. I actually don't know if I ever used this card during the event. I might have made it just because it's a Link 4, but I don't know if I actually did anything with this card. Although something cool you can do is Fenrir's an Earth, and so is Baguska and the Amorphages. So Fenrir can be your Earth for that, and he also does something, so that's really cool. Then we have the Pendulum Girls. They're good. They're crazy. You make them pretty much every match or game. They're phenomenal. IP Masquerena and SP. IP was a card I kind of wasn't singing the praises of, but this card comes up a lot in not only in simplified game states, but also the Vaylantz end board we set up does end on IP Masquerena, so this card gets a lot more important there. But also, like, now that I'm cutting the Amorphages, this card is so much better. Basically, the standard end board I'm trying to go for now is like IP Non-Finito, Pact Awakening, Baguska, Varudras, right? Something like that with maybe some other things added on. You draw some cards, whatever. But that's like the standard end board I'm trying to go for, and IP is a really big part of that, especially because IP is another way to get the Nervado off field to trigger it to summon Finmel. So if your Non-Finito gets messed with, you can still get to Finmel, which is really nice. Then we have our side deck, which was fine. Most of the cards in here are good. We have 3 Ash Blossom, which I would keep. This card, I'm not maining this card, by the way, because I figured out a Fua line, so this card doesn't feel nearly as needed. Also, this card I think is terrible going second right now, so I'm very happy to just side this card for going first. 1 Crown, which I'm mostly siding for going first, but it is a good card. Also, I want to know, the reason I only played 1 is because I only own 1, but now I own 2, because the pricing for the event was a Box of Burst Protocol, and I pulled another one, baby, so we've got another one of this card. Very happy to see it. Card's really good. I never drew it because I'm playing 60 cards. It's a 1 of in the side. So 1 Judgment, same deal there. Didn't draw it. I ended up cutting this card because I just had other better things I could play going first. 3 Super Poly. This card never actually came up. I played against 2 Brandon, and I don't think I ever drew it in that matchup. Or like I don't know. But the rest of my deck was fine enough into it anyway. And honestly, I don't love this card right now. At least in this deck, because the discard cost is kind of really expensive sometimes for this deck, especially going second. It's just hard to use that many resources, and if this card isn't like kind of winning you the game or almost winning you the game, it's probably not good enough. I do still kind of want to play this card in the side. I ended up cutting it after the event, but I would, man, I really want to find room for this card again because it is good in the matchups where it's good. Into Archmage, you can make Nerva infuse 3 of their monsters off, which is broken. Into like Brandon, making Dragostapelia is really strong. I think you can literally side this card without playing anything else. I put the Mud Dragon in here so it would cover more matchups, but I think you could literally side this card with just like the Dragostapelia and the Nerva as targets, and that's probably good enough. But at the same time, that doesn't cover like a ton of decks, so I just wanted something a little more broad. But I do really like this card, and I wouldn't mind playing it, because in the matchups where it's good, it's really good. Then we have 3 Lava Golem, which I don't think ever came up, but I didn't play against any of the decks where it would have come up, or at least I didn't draw it against like Elf Note, which is where it would have came up, and Archmage, which is another place where it could have came up, so it's fine. I like this card. I think you should play it because it's so good into something like Doomsday, but I never saw it, and I didn't play against Doomsday, so yeah. And then 3 Lightning Storm. This card's very, very good. This card's crazy. Back row removal is very good right now. If your opponent plays into the front row effect, like if they play Branded and they're bad and they put all of their monsters into attack, this card I think like straight up wins you the game. It's very funny. Yeah, all very good. Now I want to get into the actual list I would recommend you play. This is the list I built after the event, after adjusting everything. So the things you'll notice, I put the third Medius in. I cut the list down by 5 cards. What is it? I switched out the Nizuki for the Buster Baron, which does literally the exact same thing as Nizuki. It moves a Vaylantz monster while in the monster zone. The only reason I played Nizuki is that Nizuki has a move effect when it's moved to summon a monster from your back row. So it's a way to summon the guy you put in the back row with Voltage Viscount to the board. But you could do the standard combo I'm doing without using Nizuki. So it's really not a big deal. And Buster Baron can summon itself for free, unlike Nizuki, which needs you to control either a water Vaylantz or the Shinra Bancho, I think it is. One of the field spells. This card can just summon itself for free. So it's a much better card to draw. I like this card a lot more. So I switched it out. And then we cut the Imperm, we cut some of the other non-engine. We put in 3 Forbidden Crown. I was able to borrow 1 more copy of this, so I do have access to 3 of it. I'm very happy to see that because I'm going to be playing a regional in a week, so I'm very happy to have 3 of this card because it is very good. Especially in this deck, it has it's because this deck, if you didn't know, does not want to play Forbidden Droplet, a card that is very good right now because it's a Pendulum deck, and you can't send Pendulum monsters from your field as cost for Droplet. So Droplet feels so much worse than it does in every other deck. Crown is kind of this deck's Droplet, and I do like that a lot. Also, Crown's downside is normally that it's really hard to kill through it. This deck usually isn't killing the opponent going second anyway. It's usually breaking their board and then establishing its own board while getting rid of all their resources with Vidolium. Crown is great for that kind of gameplay. So I really like Crown, at least in theory. I haven't tested this card a ton, but I do, in theory, really like this card. And then 3 Fall into the Virtuous, which I missed this card so much. This card's so good. I just couldn't fit into the extra the way I had it, but because I cut the Amorphage cards, I got 2 slots freed up in my extra deck. So I was able to throw back in the Ecclesia and the Albion. So Fallen's back, baby, and I love this card. It's just amazing in this deck. This is maybe the best Fallen in the Virtuous deck outside of obviously Branded. Oh my god, phenomenal card. The only changes were obviously we added these 2 cards, we cut the Charmer Quartet in Bloom, and we put into the side the Mercurium. The reason we have Mercurium in the side is because I have a new going first line post side that I decided to play, which is Dark Lord Googlet, who, if he's sent to the grave, allows you to search a Forbidden Quick Play spell. So this, going first, allows you to search Forbidden Crown, which is insane. That's so strong. You can just like make Mercurium, attach the Googlet, and then link off or shuffle back the Mercurium to get this guy in grave, who will then trigger to search Crown. And Crown is unbelievable going first. It's maybe the strongest non-engine card in the game right now for going first. Yeah, like it's just it's a really really powerful play. I like it a lot. If you draw the Googlet, it's also not bad because you can just like pen summon it and then link it off, or you can discard it with like the Ginoldo draw effect. So really like this card. The 3 Ash, the Called By moved to the side, and we basically have the Talents instead, which I think is a lot better going second. The 3 Lava Golem, I added 2 Dark Ruler no more, and I moved the Feather Duster to the side. Feather Duster, it makes sense. If we're not maining Thrust, I don't think this card's with maining. And then Dark Ruler, I just wanted like 2 more good going second cards, and I couldn't really think of better going second cards this deck could play. The only other ones I was considering was Ultimate Slayer, because it lets you pitch guys out of your extra deck, which is really nice, and Evenly Matched. But I thought Evenly Matched didn't cover enough or just wasn't good in enough matchups, and same thing with Ultimate Slayer. Like, I was thinking about Doomsday, and I was like, man, Ultimate Slayer just does so little against that deck because they get to you can't target the big guy because he has Doom Dirge under him. Dark Ruler just hits more decks. It hits a lot of the combo decks. I like this card a lot. It's very good. Anyway, that's been the list. Let's get on. I'm going to show you guys the 1-card Shinonome Combo. Okay, so we have a Shinonome and a Spell Trap in our hand. We're going to scale the Shinonome, we're going to move it forward with its effect, and then we're going to use its effect to search solo activation. We're going to use solo activation to place the Buster Baron. The Buster Baron will then move itself forward. We're then going to use Buster Baron to move the Shinonome, and then Shinonome, since it was moved, will search the Voltage Viscount. We're then going to link our 2 monsters off for Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond can then search a copy of Vidolium. We're then going to scale Vidolium, and then pen summon our 2 monsters. We're then going to use Vidolium to pop itself, and then in the extra deck, it'll search out a copy of Terminus. We're going to use Terminus to search Medius and send Ginoldo. The send here doesn't matter, but theoretically, because I will spoil it, we're going to make Baguska on the send board. Something you could do if you kept Charmer Quartet and Bloom in the deck is that you could link off Baguska. You could make an Exceed before you use Vidolium's effect to have a link 3 on your board, and then when you make Baguska, you can link the Baguska and the Exceed off to make Quartet and Bloom, and then summon on your opponent's turn the Baguska and the Quartet and Bloom. This is nice because it stops you from getting locked on your own board early, so it gives you a little more agency on when you want to actually stop them with Baguska. But on 1, I have to play that card to do that, and I don't have the room for it while trying to play Fallen in the Virtuous. Also, what is it? It gives your opponent the ability to just, like, Fallen in the Virtuous, pop your Quartet and Bloom during the draw, or, like, I don't know. It's just, it gives them a little more agency on when they want to interact with your cards as well, which is kind of frustrating. I like just having the Bagooska on board. I do think it is probably an objectively better board to have the Quartet and Bloom on board, but I just don't have room for it, so that's why. And the board is mostly the same anyway. You still get the Bagooska on board with all the other interruptions. We're then going to search the Nervado. We're then going to tribute it and discard the spell trap to summon the Non-Finito. The Non-Finito will set Pact Awakening, and then we will summon the IP and then Xyz for Bagooska. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. This board is pretty strong. You have the Bagooska interaction, the IP, which is 2 interruptions because SP is 2, and then Non-Finito, which can fuse to make another Non-Finito, set the recapture, and you get all that off Pact Awakening, and link off the Nervado or fuse off the Nervado to summon Finmel. That's like 3 interruptions right there. So 3 off this line, 1 off the Bagooska, 2 off the IP. Pretty damn good considering you were under a Vaylantz lock, right? Anyway, that's been the video. I hope you all enjoyed. I do have a big combo video in the works for this deck. I'm working on it, man. It's a lot. But let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I'm really working hard on this deck. I like it a lot. I'm gonna take it to a regional. We're gonna see how I do. I'm hoping to top. Again, last regional I went to, I topped with Radiant Typhoon. I'd love to top with a deck I really love like this one. So we'll see how it goes. Hope to see y'all next time. Goodbye.